Good morning. Welcome to Confabulation. My name is Joy. I'm the project coordinator here at our sister's house.
And I'm Jill Jackson. I'm the family violence and legal advocate at our sister's house.
And I'm Ariel. I'm the domestic violence advocate at the PLDSHS office.
Okay. Confabulation was founded by our sister's house, where we provide advocacy, support, and education for families going through domestic violence. Our sister's house provides resources, legal and community advocacy, and support groups. If you or a loved one is going through domestic violence, please feel free to give us a call and schedule an appointment with our community advocate. You can call us at 253-383-4275. So today we are featuring a product by Manier Essentials. It is a beard balm and it smells absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, if I had a beard. I don't.
This would be it. Anyway, we're going to test it out on Sanders here, who is our guest correspondent today. We wanted to have a male perspective on our subject today, so we asked Sanders, who is our... What'd you do here?
I basically do everything, go around, take care of the office, answer the phone calls,
Sanders, my assistant, is here to assist.
We're going to cut that out. Not it.
Yes, you are. Sanders is my assistant.
He's the office assistant.
Thank you, Jill.
The office
I'm the
assistant.
secretary, basically.
Okay, Sanders, try it. You're the only one with a beard.
I ain't have a beard.
Yeah,
Well, a goatee. He got a little goatee. How does How does it feel?
Feels good. Smells good. Looks good on your beard or your goatee, whatever you have.
And it looks a lot shinier.
It does.
It actually looks more upkept.
Yeah.
It looks so scraggly.
Yeah, now you just need a brush.
Exactly. A miracle product.
Yes.
If you don't have one, what you doing?
Like Joy's ex-boyfriend needs a miracle product.
Don't start. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Okay. Their information will be tagged down below. Make sure to check them out. Today on Confabulation, we're going to be confabulating about the magnitude of Black genocide. This subject was inspired by a video posted on YouTube by 1000 Go Ahead. In this video, it features Daylight 2K, and he is giving his opinion on how the black population is being wiped out. Let's take a look into this clip.
You know what they've been trying to do? They've been trying to lower our numbers. So what they did was they started telling all the women, man, you could be this, you could be that. We need feminist movements and all that. You know what they want the women to do? Stop having children. They want the women to stop having children. Girls be like, bitch, I ain't having that many kids. Since when has it been a bad thing to have a lot of kids? Girl, she got a lot of kids. So fucking what? Girls be like, I just want one baby now. I just want a boy and a girl. Bitch, you crazy. On some real shit, black people should be having a minimum of 6 kids. Minimum. Nigga, I'm from a family of 7. My daddy from a family of 14. My mama from a family of like 9. It should be a minimum of 6. Want me to tell you why? I live in Orange County. I see minimum 7s, 5s, 7s, 5s, 4s, 7s. Minimums. Big old family. What's that shit called with the Olsen twins? They got, man, the grandfather there, and they have big old family trips to Disneyland. 7s, 8s. Black people, 1 kid, 1 to 2 kids. Look, man. Dear black women, I'm going to say this loud and clear. Fuck your career. Yo, you trying to be Instagram models and y'all trying to do all that extra shit. Help us repopulate.
Perhaps the time has come to reinstitute an old custom. Grant then prima nocte. First night, when any common girl inhabiting their lands is married, our nobles shall have sexual rights to her on the night of her wedding. If we can't get them out, we'll breed them out.
By defining black genocide, or just genocide in general, and I'm going to read the definition from the United Nations Convention on Genocide, so we get an exact definition so we can work with that. So they define genocide as acts committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. So using that definition, it's evident that the fears of genocide in Black America are very founded, just based on historical and contemporary actions that have been happening throughout time, and they're still happening now in the Black community. So we've been subject to all this brutalization by white America.
What's your perspective on it? Yeah, so I completely get what you ladies are saying, definitely. He is definitely ignorant for saying what he's saying. Women bow down, make these babies, whatever. I'm against that, totally. Our body is our body. We're in control of our body. It's our temple. You don't tell us what to do. Completely understand that. However, I do get a little bit deeper of what he's trying to say just by the videos that he had presented within the video. Does that make sense? If we can't get them out, breed them out is what really stuck out to me.
Yeah, that me too.
And so what I got from that is the controlling of our population. We kind of touched on it a little bit already, but let's just use Planned Parenthood for an example. Planned Parenthood was founded by Margaret Sanger, who is not a fan of Black people. Not even just that. This is a person that Hillary Clinton admires. Who is this lady's so into like eugenics, where like the Nazis, the sterilizations, and how they were controlling and killing the population of the Jews and stuff like that. And just think about it, Planned Parenthood, where are all the Planned Parenthoods at? Majority of them are in Black communities. It's about controlling. It's a government-funded business.
Yeah, and they've gotten rid of a lot of those though, because
the abortion laws.
Well, yeah, because white women started going to them.
Exactly.
And the white population is going down at such a rate, their birth rate and the death rate going up, they'll never catch up.
Right.
So their population, well, as we all know, in like 2040 something, they won't even be the majority in the United States. So they're worried about that.
They're definitely worried about that. It was there to, I believe, let me rephrase that. I believe Planned Parenthood was in specific areas to control the population. Easy access for the Black woman to give birth control or abortions and not to have these babies, and which is breeding us out. That goes all the way back to breeding us out. It's control. One of my favorite things I did a little bit of research is how Black people fear the government. When you take it back to like the 1950s, when the government had these funded birth control pills, Black people were scared to take it because they felt like the government was trying to stunt Black power, which they were.
That is true.
Absolutely. And even like back during slave days, the only reason why Blacks had babies, or the plantation owners wanted the Black to have babies, is because of the plantation wealth. But when the Civil War ended, we were just disposable. They didn't care about us.
No,
we were disposable.
Been trying to get rid of us ever since then.
They've been trying to get
which is the huge part of the Black genocide that we're looking at. I agree.
We became less desirable, and their task was to eliminate us, to dispose us, to decrease the Black population.
Yeah,
that is their main focus then and now. All it is modern day slavery. To be honest with you, that's all it is. And so, my last point was the sterilization abuse. We had talked about it. For instance, like when women back then would get pregnant, they would go into a white medical established hospital where the woman would deliver the baby, and they were more likely to come out with complications of not being able to conceive or have babies again. Like, there's, compared to a white woman who would go in there, there's no complications.
Yeah.
Like, that is a red flag right there.
And we still see it today.
Yeah, still today.
It's still prevalent today.
Still today. I was just listening to a video of a man who, him and his wife, black couple, had a baby, decided to have another baby like a year later, went in there, she had a scheduled C-section, she was hemorrhaging, the catheter was turning red. Did you see it on my Instagram?
I don't think I saw
I
that.
saw it.
Yeah, he was, and that story was just sad. Like, this black man is telling you his wife something's going on. The cat, it's red, it's blood, and you sit there and you tell that she's bleeding from inside, and you guys don't come and save her till what, 10 hours later? By the time you open her up, her abdomen is filled with blood and she passes away. Like,
but that is nothing new about how black women are treated in the medical industry.
exactly.
When they think we don't feel pain because we're not human. We when we have babies in the South, they used to have just before segregation ended, which to me might have been a better solution than integration on some level. We had black doctors, nurses, hospitals, and you didn't have to go to a white hospital. But now you do.
Yeah, you do.
That's not the case now. You just do.
Absolutely.
So we have to deal with that issue.
So my whole point of saying what I said is because I don't agree with what he and how he degraded women as a whole, but I do agree with the government trying to breed us out.
Oh, I agree with that.
I agree with that too.
I agree with that.
Okay, I'm backtracking. I agree with everything Ariel says, but when you said that black should date black, Asian should date Asian, and Mexican should date Mexican. So, Joy, you dated black guys, right?
I've dated black guys.
Okay. Are you single right now?
Yes.
Okay, say if I date 10 black girls and I'm connecting with them and everything, but then none of them worked out. Why not date a different race to try? I have a connection with her better than I did with the black girls. So why should I have to date someone my race to make you guys feel happy? Well, if I'm not happy dating them, so why is it wrong for me to branch out? I'm not saying like dating is fine, but like, okay, we all know like if we date a white girl, or if you marry a white girl, if you marry an Asian or marry a Hispanic, like they don't get what you're going through like a black woman does. But if I dated my share of black women, and I vibe with a different race, why is that wrong?
I think, and my brother's married to a white woman, and they have mixed children. Mm-hmm. But I'm not saying it's wrong. Interracial couples and stuff like it's not wrong. Definitely not wrong. But my thing is like, how could you go to your parents' house, sit at the table, discuss what we're discussing right now, and for her to even understand your culture? I feel like the lack of, and it happens all the time.
Yeah,
it does.
It does.
They don't understand our culture. They get uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. It's because they're ignorant to even want to open their mind to know what we've been through. And I feel like it's disrespectful to you for them not even wanting to explore your culture. So
does your brother and his wife, does she try she doesn't try to? No.
Absolutely not. Anytime we go to their house and we play, we have like little game nights, she immediately gets uncomfortable. And my brother. So in the United States, I do agree where it's like black women, black men are going their separate ways, definitely. But when we're talking about black, or when the media is showing us African and Americans, they're not showing us the whole scope of the black community.
That's true.
I think Joy and I had this conversation about the Caribbean and South America and stuff like that. There's still black and black love down there. Mm-hmm. So we're only seeing what the media wants us to see.
Yeah, you're right, but
I disagree.
Okay.
Because I think it's more of a society thing right now. I think if you look on the West Coast, there's no HBCUs. So I think if you go onto the South and the East Coast, there's more HBCUs where you see black and black love. Because we don't have a lot of HBCUs any HBCUs on the West Coast, you don't see a lot of black people loving black girls or black guys liking black girls or vice versa. It's because that in society now it's like, oh, if a black guy dates a darker skinned girl, it's they kind of get embarrassed about it and they think like, oh, like I want to have a light skinned baby, or that's why I want my kids to be. I want my kid to be made fun of because they're darker than other kids, and then you have the stigma of where, well, light skinned women are prettier than this and that, and it's just how society made it seem to be. But I don't think it's like black men don't not like black women no more. I still think it still goes both ways. Like a black woman can say, oh, I don't want a black man because I want a white man because I want my babies to look like this and this, and I want them not to be made fun of. So I think it goes both ways, honestly.
I agree. It definitely does go both ways. It's not just one-sided when it comes to black love. Again, and it does have a lot to do with our uprising. So if you're born in the South, you're going to see more black on black love than over here in the West or Northwest. Is more interracial. It's more diverse over here.
Yeah, I can agree with that because we used to go to Chicago every summer, and I didn't, up until I was maybe about 16, 17, and I didn't see it there. I think it's a real heavy-duty West Coast thing, and I think because we live in a town that has so many Army, Navy, so much military here, and people travel all over the world and they settle here, and then you just have a mixture of so many people here. But you know, I think that brainwashing of that takes place all over the United States. I don't care if you're in the South or East Coast about dark-skinned women. That platform needs to be addressed, because I think Sanders is right. I think that, and more men do this by far, like 22%
Yes.
of black men date outside their race versus, you know, what, like maybe 2% of black women.
9.
Yeah.
But
Is it 5?
The crazy
9%.
thing is, like, I don't understand, because when you think about the Asians or the Mexicans, they're always dating within their cultures because that's what they're taught, is to stay within your kind.
And we also have to take a look at history and the benefits of dating outside of your race that black men want, just like Sanders said, their kids to have. Is to not be made fun of for being dark skinned, is to have certain doors open for them for being lighter skinned. It's a whole entire colorism effect that has been put and inbred into us by Caucasians.
And I think a lot of light-skinned or biracial men and women, they feel like because they have that privilege, they don't have any skin in the game. And I think that's a problem too. I think a lot of biracial and light-skinned people don't see, or they don't want to see, the privilege that they have by being light-skinned or by being biracial. I think that's an issue. I think it's a huge problem.
Yeah.
And I think too, the colonization of our brains, as not so much from African diaspora, for Africans that move here or people from African diaspora that move here, but the African Americans that live here and have been raised here and have been part of slavery. I think there's still chains on the brains, and everything white is all right.
Yes.
And I think that's the problem with black males right now. Sanders said it. They want to, you know, they want to have these light-skinned babies. Who thinks, something's wrong with you if you think like that.
Absolutely, he's right. But if you guys watch the video, you would see he even showed tons of different examples from the media and commercials of a white man and a white woman with a light-skinned child. That's what they're showing society. That's what they're showing us.
Oh yeah, because they want it. You know what? White society isn't as intimidated by light-skinned black people.
That's
They're
true.
not. And so they're trying to ease, let's ease these little mixed babies and biracial kids into these commercials and advertisements so we can, just ease it in, and the video, actually, the clip we showed was from the video called "If We Can't Get Them Out, We'll Breed Them Out."
Right.
And that's part of black genocide.
Absolutely.
It's breeding. But I have to say, I did go online, and while I don't know for sure that the brother that was talking in the video, I found another video where it looks like he has a biracial son. So here again, we have someone talking about what black women need to
Exactly.
do, and he's not even doing it himself. That's my issue with it. And then when he says we need to throw away our careers, I about died. That was it for me.
I passed out.
I
I
was like,
blacked
no.
out. I was ready to fight. As soon as he said black woman,
Yeah.
F your career, I was
F
ready
your
to put my
career.
hands up. Like, first of all, he states that he wants us to have 6 children. He says that the minimum should be 6 children. And he says that in the past that this is how black families were raised up. But he's not looking at everything. He's not looking at it holistically. They had to have 6 kids on farms. They had to have 6 kids to raise everything agriculturally. Whereas now that's not the present tense that we're living in. And in order for a woman has to have 1 year to heal after she has birth. So for me to have those 6 kids, I would have to start breeding at 21, and I wouldn't be
Yeah.
done until 31.
Yeah.
And I'm not spending 10 years on my back.
Some people get pregnant after 3 months, but
Well, it's not healthy.
Yeah,
to.
it's not
your,
healthy.
your doctor will tell you
But-
that. It's
Yeah.
not healthy to.
absolutely not. Also, I was just watching a video too that we talked about it.
Yeah.
How black women are more likely to have complications and die during birth.
4 times more likely than white women.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not saying don't have no kids, but I have 4 myself, so.
Well,
No.
but see, I have 3, and I raised another one, and I have a granddaughter. I have 2 grandchildren. But my thing is that black females we're not chattel. What black women have been producing and reproducing since the first slave ships came here. So it's kind of counterproductive to put black women back in that space. We have a right to our bodies, what goes in it, what comes out of it. We have a right to all the decisions about our bodies. And I'd like to know, with 22% of black males dating outside of their race, and the huge levels of black men incarcerated, where are these black men coming from to impregnate black women with 6 children who can actually socially, psychologically, and economically take care of these kids? Because I'm not seeing it.
I think he thinks that what he's saying is trying to build black people up. What he's actually doing is tearing us down, because being a woman in America is already hard, but being a black woman in America is probably one of the hardest things to do. It'd be probably the hardest thing in America.
Yeah.
Black women are already civilized as loud, ratchet, all types of things. The list goes on and on. But being he's basically tearing black women down, saying, "Oh, black women need to stay home." No, black women need to go out, get a career, do their jobs, do what a man can do, instead of just laying around the house being the stigma. No, like being a stereotype. No, black woman needs to go do what she needs to do, get a career, give her a job, let her go out into the world and have opportunities like the rest of us.
And 38% of black children live in poverty. I mean, are we really going to suggest that in order for us to keep our lineage, watered down or not, that we're all just going to go out? Well, not me, but yeah, these young women, these young black women are just going to go out and say, you know what, F my career, and I'm just going to go have babies for the black race. This is ridiculous to think that this is a fairy tale. That's not going to happen. A lot of black women are choosing not to even have children nowadays.
Exactly.
And that's their choice. And you know what? I applaud them, Because if you can't raise a child financially, socially, psychologically, emotionally, to the best of your benefit, you don't need to have them. And a lot of women are realizing, I don't want that responsibility. I can't afford to raise a child right now. I can't afford to spend the time that it takes to formulate a positive human being right now. And a lot of black women are saying, I just don't want the responsibility.
And imagine doing that with 6 children.
And
yeah.
And the whole point of when you have a child, you want a better future than what you had. So if you bring 6 kids into this world, most likely, if you're not a millionaire, you're living in the ghetto, the poverty. You're not affording all those kids at once. You want your child to have a better future. So
Yeah.
if you're financially prepared for 6 kids, I say okay, have as many kids as you want. If you can basically financially prepare and be stable for all of them. But if you can't, you're just basically living in the ghetto. Most likely your kid will go into a gang or whatever. Be living in the ghetto, you're not having a better future for your child. That's what he needs to think about.
That is a straight to prison pipeline. That's basically what it is. If
Yeah.
you have 6 kids, 5 of them are going to fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
They are, because if you're not mentally ready, if you're not financially ready, you're going to be relying on welfare assistance, the government, and a bunch of resources that 10 times out of 10, sometimes they don't work. So it's better for you to just think about your career, go to school, get your life together, and then sit down and think about children.
I want to add back to something you guys talked about earlier about how the black men, they'll date outside their race, like the Latinas or the Asians. I think with that, a part of that is because of the environment. Because Joy and I went to a private school in Auburn, and all we had was white, maybe a few Hispanics, and mainly Asians. Now I go to school in California, another private school. All you see down there is basically Mexico 2.0.
With what Sanders was saying as well, he has a point. You know, if he's dating black women in where he lives, or where he goes to school, and it's just not working out for him, and he opens his scope to other women, no matter what they are. My thing, and I don't have a problem with that. My thing is just like you said, if you date exclusively white women and you down black women, which Sanders does not do, but you came from a black woman. And so that is, to me, it's kind of self-hate. But if you're just dating people just for their personality, and they just happen to be a Latina woman, or an Asian woman, or a white woman, you just because you're in a very diverse setting, you just like who you like. You get hooked up with who you get hooked up, and that's the bottom line. Do I think that black males should put more effort into understanding black women?
Yes.
There's a lot of pain there. So, black males and it's not just black males. Black females do this too. Oh, she's so ratchet. She's so ghetto. Are we looking at the pain behind some of these behaviors? The societal pain that women that we may feel like, okay, sister, you might want to chill out there with the makeup and the hair and the boobs showing and the dress skirts up to here and the loud talking and out doing, and not those types of issues need to be addressed within our community.
Yes.
And we can't address them without black males.
And I think sometimes, my last point, I think black males sometimes think black females don't appreciate themselves. And the reason why I say that is because you see these black females spend all this money on some weaves, putting all this makeup on, and not embracing their natural beauty. A little bit's fine, definitely. Here and there, definitely. But the extent, excuse me.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
The amount of money that they put into their weaves and stuff like that is just it's no self-worth. You don't value yourself. You rather look like that white lady over there with the straight hair than embracing your nice afro.
And I don't even think if you're comfortable with yourself and you want to wear a weave,
That's
just
fine.
don't wear it
That's
every
it.
single day like it's really part of your personality. Or if you want to relax your hair. Or if you want to be natural. Or if you want to wear braids. Whatever you do, you should be comfortable in yourself. Like if I want to wear my natural hair one day, I'll wear it. If I want to relax it one day, I'll relax it. If I want to get braids another day, I'll get braids. But I'm not wearing a hair hat. I'm not wearing stuff on my hair like that.
But let's talk about how, okay, I get your point, but I'm going to say this without any disrespect, I don't like your point. Like how Jill said, I believe that if you're comfortable with yourself and you're like, okay, I want to wear weave every single day in my life. Wear weaves, wear wigs, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, if you could come home and proclaim blackness and stand up when it's time for you to stand up, wear whatever you want, be whoever you want to be. As long as it's time for you to come home and you are ready to stand up and fight with everyone, I honestly don't have a problem with it.
But I think black men do.
That's what I was saying. That was my whole point.
But let's look at white women. Kim K recently posted a picture, and I'll insert it right here. Not even recently, a while ago, with her new foundation line. Her legs were black. Black.
Well, that's
black.
the thing. White women.
But it's acceptable for black men when it's white women doing it and appropriating our culture.
I don't know, because I feel like, for me, when I see a white woman that wears like, she has dreads or braids, I just get disgusted. Like, you shouldn't even like, what are you doing? Like, that's not even like, no, like even any other race too. If they try to like, they steal our hairstyle, our culture, I'd be like, no, that it don't even look right. Cause it's like, what are you doing? Like, that's for us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But my point wasn't saying like, my point was just of what a black man, how they view us black women and why, because they don't. But because I've talked to so many black men who are like, ugh, like, why she gotta wear the weave? Why she gotta do this? Why can't she just embrace her beauty? Like, it's a turnoff sometimes.
But I think that
But we don't do it for men. That's the issue.
Well, that's one thing. That's one thing. But I think because the white beauty standards and black men play into this as well. Of women, if you have low self-esteem and that's all you see is white beauty standards, how are you going to feel comfortable enough in your own skin? And I think when you date black women, you have to look deeper than what's on their head, or what they're wearing, or all the makeup. If you can find a diamond in the rough,
I'm telling you,
somewhere.
Like, I've been to DC. My sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, they're deep, and I always say this, I stress it. They're really deep into their African heritage. But and when I go up there, you don't see the black people wearing the weave. They have the short haircut. They don't wear makeup. In DC, like,
well, yeah.
In DC, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. But I'm saying these women there, that's like, I admire that. Like, they don't give a shit. Excuse my language, but they don't. They're embracing their beauty, and people there people admire it. They don't sit there and be like, oh, trying to, like, they embrace.
But we don't have those types of
Can I? Let me say, because you're saying that black men, this is like what they want is for us to be natural and have short hair and rock our natural dues. My ex-boyfriend, black, from the South, told me that he was like, oh, you're bald headed. I was like, what? He's like, why is your hair so nappy? And then he would say, oh, but you're too white for me.
Well, I'm sorry, in the South, it's like the same though. The South you see, the South you see the black women wearing their weaves and all the extra stuff. Like, it's so different everywhere you go, Northwest to the South to the East, like. I just don't think black people on the West Coast are as woke.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
I think that migration, we had, historically we had 2 migrations from the South. Then we had a third migration from the East Coast out to the West. And I just don't think some of the pride we had as black people translated once, you know, like my grandparents, my parents moved out here from an all black neighborhood in Chicago on the south side. When we got here, and then you know, me and my sister grew up around a whole bunch of white people. It took a lot of work for my parents to keep us instilled in our culture, but I saw black kids all around us that weren't that wasn't the case. It goes back to your upbringing and your environment. Yeah, I was around a whole bunch of white kids when I was growing up, but that didn't dilute me or the fact that I was light skinned. That didn't dilute for me the fact that I knew who I was, and that's the point. I think a lot of these women and men nowadays have no clue about their history. They don't know who they are. They don't know where they come from. And they're just kind of out there, especially and I have never and I've lived several places in the United States. I have never in my life seen so much men dating white women as here in Tacoma. I was shocked. I was like, what is this?
No, seriously, when we lived in Georgia, even to this day, my husband's grandma is like, tells everybody, like his cousin dates a white man where his father is racist. First off, why even date him? And his grandma was like, don't bring the white boy around here. Like, she's like, stick with the black people. And again, it comes back to the culture of what you're raised. However, me, I was raised here in Washington. My mom's side of the family is white. My grandma's from France. If you see my mom's side of the family, they have blue eyes, blonde hair. They're white. My dad's side is black. I used to like white men. I used to be attracted to white men until I reached an age where I started to explore my own culture. I discovered I'm not dating no white man. I'm sorry. I'm not dating my white man.
That's
you know, it's once you dive in and you learn about your culture and you learn about just the history of everything, it realizes that we need to stick together. I'm not saying don't do what you want to do, but me personally, just knowing my culture, my history, I'm all for the blacks.
See, my thing, I'm African, but I won't date African men. I won't, just because of the way of my upbringing, how I was brought up and how I saw African men treated African women. Because even my mom was like, do not date outside your race. Don't date African men. But I go to my grandparents' house and I see how they act. I go to my uncles and I have a bunch of family. Each and every single African man acts the same. It's literally 1 in 12 zillion that will act different. And I personally just don't have the time for that. And so I choose not to date African men because I have tried it. I'm not going to say I just completely cut it off. I've tried it, and it's even from, I'm going to say ground zero, from infant. African men are a different breed that I just can't touch. I can't.
Yeah. I never ever wanted to date white men. I have dated Afro-Latino men.
My husband's an Afro-Latino.
Yeah, and my ex-husband is Afro-Latino. But I have never ever wanted to date a white man. I did one time just out of curiosity when I was younger, and that lasted 2 weeks, and that was done.
Yeah.
I don't even think it lasted 2 weeks. I was like, what the hell are you doing?
I'm just so uncomfortable.
But my problem is, or I guess my point is that I had a firm grounding of my culture when I was younger. When I was young, I didn't flounder with it. My great grandmother was raised by a white man, which is.
And in the clip, he was like, "We got whites and blacks. We got to figure out how we can create a breed to breed them out." Talking to a whole group of white people.
Yeah, well, they did the same thing in Australia with the Aborigines there. So, I just, it's a topic that we need to, there's subtopics within this black genocide thing.
Yeah.
There's the black male and how he views the black female. There's interracial dating and having biracial children. There we've discussed the governmental side of it. There's this topic.
It goes deep.
It's
really
pretty deep.
So
Yeah.
if you guys want to continue this on,
Okay. If you guys want to continue this topic, if you guys want us to dive in deeper, please let us know in the comments below. I think we're about to close out and just everyone state their last opinion on the video and what they think they've learned from each other. And yeah. And I'm going to let Sanders go first because he is our guest. He's so upset. Okay, Sanders, what did you get from this whole entire conversation? Confabulation, actually. What are you going to take home with you?
I still disagree with the video, but everyone said I see their points of each and everything, and I my view of everything has broadened. So I think I can I'll look at things in different perspectives, I'll say.
I would say I love our black men, and I just want them to love us back. And I'm still sticking with my topic. There are black men out there that do love us, but I guess I'll expand it and just say I don't see it in Washington. It's not as prevalent in Washington as it is in other states. So I will recompartmentalize it and just say save it for black men in Washington specifically. Yeah.
I agree with him. I kind of got I feel like an anthropologist right now. Just get everyone's perspective and beliefs on this subject. So,
As it pertains to the brother on the video, I think, he's uninformed, he's ignorant, and I don't mean he's stupid, he's just ignorant of the actual facts surrounding what he's saying, and he's misogynistic.
Yes.
I don't think any of those three will help with black genocide or trying to solve it. And as I said before, there's so many different subtopics to this topic, but what I take away from it is that as long as you personally know who you are and what you represent, and your ethics and morals are sound and positive, then if you are a black female or a black male, you should know what time it is and what to do.
and stop listening to the media.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, we're about to close this out, but just as a reminder, make sure to check out Manier Essentials. We'll link their information down below.
You gotta show.
You gotta
Yeah,
show the logo
logo.
too. They can't really see it. He can't grow a beard, that's why he...
We're just gonna leave it like that. I ain't gonna say nothing. We're gonna leave it like that.
Okay, thank you for joining us here today. Please leave your comments down below. Let us know what topics you would like to hear from us, and thank you for confabulating with us.